All right, next thing I'm going to talk about is Australia. Why did you come to Australia?
I've always wanted to travel to Australia. It was like a dream. Before I even had in my computer, the screensaver was, Opera House.
Mhm.
And then I was in this kind of situation where I just left work, and then I was like, what I'm gonna do next? And I didn't have a chance before to, travel and spend some time, a longer time abroad. And then it was an opportunity something that I was actually keen on doing and really wanted for a long time. And then I just took the time and just started to research around it. And there were a few, possibilities to go, like Canada or Australia, or I don't know, somewhere in Europe. But then it was like, okay, why not Australia? It's something it's somewhere where I always wanted to go, and I have a chance. So, and then I started researching about it and the possibilities of, to make my stay longer. So
Interesting.
instead of just going as a tourist, if I just took a course, I could stay there for a year.
Right. Now, your screensaver was Sydney Opera House, but you ended up in Melbourne. How did that happen?
Yes. It's fun because I could have chosen Sydney. There was basically the same course there. Then I don't know. I think researching about it, I wanted something a little bit different. I think I knew too many Brazilian people going to Sydney, and maybe I wanted to have a different experience.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, and although there's a lot of Brazilians in Melbourne as well, but I didn't know any going there.
So. Yeah. And look, I'll be honest. I think people that, especially like people like you, right? You've gone to university, you've studied, you had a job, you worked your way up, and then some point in your life you go, maybe life is more than this. And not only do you think that, but then you have the will to push yourself to go find that. I think that's incredible. Like that's absolutely incredible. Personally, like that would be super scary for someone like me, but I think it's incredible that you did it. You must have faced some challenges when you came out here too. I'd imagine, being someone from overseas. Like, are there any particular challenges that stick out?
I would say I was a lot insecure with my English. Although I already spoke English, I was insecure. And then that was something that I feared, those interactions with locals, especially. And I used to be a little bit, embarrassed about, the accent, because it's like very Brazilian. And before I used to think, no, if I speak English, I need to, have the same kind of accent that, the native speakers have. But then I realized it's not like that. The important part of, English is talking and, expressing the message that you have, getting that
100%.
coming across.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is scary at first.
Yeah, I mean, communication, right? I mean, the most effective communication is the one that the other person understands. Yeah. I remember a few years ago, there was a World Cup tournament on, and they were interviewing all these football players from different countries. So they had this one guy from Mali, and they had English subtitles. They had the French player, English subtitles. They had the Brazilian player, English subtitles. Then they had Wayne Rooney from England with English subtitles. And what I found about that was incredible, because like English itself has so many different accents. If you go to England, where they invented the language, north of England compared to south of England is completely different from an accent perspective, to the point where you kind of think to yourself, are they even speaking English? And I think in many ways Australia is the same as well. In Melbourne, it's not too bad, but like you go further up north, and oh my God, their way of speaking is just so intense and so different. Yeah, 100%. And a lot of international students do say, when they come out here, the biggest thing that they're worried about or scared about is how other people will judge them or view them for the way they speak. One of the things that I always think is the other person can't speak your language, so they shouldn't have the right to judge you, especially considering you can speak their language. Like that's
the way they're trying.
And you're trying. That's exactly it. It's you're trying. Yeah. So apart from languages, what else? What about food? Did you miss food from back home?
I missed it, but I kind of enjoyed, trying different things, because I mean, Australia, it's a little, Melbourne specifically, it's like São Paulo. You have food from all around the globe there. So it's really interesting to get to know a little bit more, especially the Asian culture, which I think is very strong in Melbourne. And I think Vietnamese food, I didn't have a chance to eat a lot of that in Brazil before. I've tried that, but not as much as I could in Australia. Or, I don't know, Korean, we had a few restaurants around here, but then again, it's a different view because it's, I don't know, that was something that I really, really liked it. But of course, I miss Brazilian food. That's why sometimes I just, try to find some Brazilian restaurants in Melbourne to, help a little bit with that. But it didn't taste.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great that you had such an open outlook towards coming out here and experiencing everything. What was your favorite thing that you experienced out here?
Traveling. Australia is really beautiful. It was amazing. I had opportunity to go to see the Great Barrier Reef, and it was really amazing. I think until now, it's the best experience I've ever had. I took the helicopter flight over it, and it was amazing. It's beautiful. I really want to go back and do that again. And then I had a chance to go to I forgot the name, for Alice Springs, that nearby is there, and see things around there and see a little bit more of the Aboriginal culture.
Yeah.
And, seeing this place where they take care of, the baby kangaroos. It was amazing.
Most importantly, did you see your screensaver in real life?
Yes, I did. And I fell in love with it. It is even prettier than I have ever imagined.
Yeah, excellent. I remember when I went, I did the Sydney Opera House tour, and that made me appreciate the building structure so much more. Like when you find out the story behind the actual monument, you just go, whoa. And it's got such an interesting story as well. Like, for example, that wasn't the first choice, in the sense, they saw the scribble for what this design was supposed to look like, and they ended up throwing it in the bin. And then somebody picked it out of the bin and said, no, this is truly revolutionary. Like, this might not be engineeringly possible right now, but if we can do it, this could be truly like a modern wonder of the world, basically.
Yes.
So that was really cool.
And I remember I took this tour because you have recommended it to me.
That's right. I did.
You did, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It was really worth it, really. And I loved Sydney. But I do love Melbourne too. They're just so different kind of vibes between these two cities.
Very different.